I just saw LeBron get swept yet again, and I have to say, I don't even have him in my top 10 anymore after watching that garbage. I mean, how many times do we have to witness the self-proclaimed GOAT brick the absolute living shit out of a clutch shot? This guy's out there airballing shots and missing layups. At some point, you gotta have some shame, my man. Is he playing? No, I just think that, we play in different eras.
The Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate just exploded again. And this time, it happened because an old MJ clip resurfaced that fans believe exposes the biggest difference between the two legends. And once that clip started spreading online, social media went completely bonkers. Jordan fans instantly jumped on it. LeBron fans started defending him. And suddenly, the GOAT debate was right back in everybody's face again like it never left. What made this clip hit so hard is that it wasn't even about stats at first. It wasn't about rings, it wasn't about MVPs, it wasn't about longevity, it was about mentality. The clip showed Jordan discussing pressure, leadership, accountability, and refusing to make excuses no matter the circumstances. And the second people connected that mindset to some of LeBron's recent moments, the internet immediately started comparing the two approaches to greatness.
He's still number 2 all time. The reason that I don't put him number 1 is because there was too many times earlier in his career where he didn't have that assassin's mentality. So we look at Jordan and we look, first of all, he's 6-0 in NBA Finals. You never looked at MJ and said in a championship series, he didn't get it done. Not one time.
That's why this conversation blew up so fast, because when people debate Jordan and LeBron, they're not really just debating basketball anymore. They're debating what greatness is supposed to look like. One side sees LeBron as the most complete basketball player ever, with unmatched longevity, versatility, and IQ. The other side sees Jordan as the ultimate killer, whose mentality never cracked under pressure. And once that old MJ clip resurfaced, Jordan fans felt like they finally had another piece of ammo in this never-ending argument. The timing also made the conversation worse for LeBron because fans were already criticizing some recent Lakers moments. The frustration around the team, the body language discussions, the walking off court early criticism, all of that was already circulating online. So when people saw Jordan in the clip basically talking about never giving opponents or critics anything emotionally, fans immediately started connecting dots.
Who's devalued LeBron? See, that's the BS that we have to stop letting him and his camp get away.
Lots of people have.
Once again, no, excuse me. We talk about the GOAT because he's not in a lot of people's eyes. It's Michael Jordan. That is it.
And honestly, whether people want to admit it or not, perception matters in these debates because LeBron's career has always been judged differently than Jordan's. Every reaction gets analyzed, every quote gets dissected, every loss gets magnified. That's what happens when you spend 20+ years being discussed as either the greatest ever or the guy who couldn't surpass Michael Jordan. The old Jordan clip specifically had fans focusing on one thing: accountability under pressure. Jordan talked about accepting criticism, embracing expectations, and understanding that leadership means carrying blame without constantly explaining circumstances. That's the part fans latched onto, because LeBron critics immediately started bringing up all the moments throughout his career where they felt he publicly shifted blame, subtly pointed at roster issues, or explained losses in ways Jordan never would have. Now, whether that's fully fair is a different conversation, but perception drives sports debates more than people realize.
I think he's made his mark. He will continue to do so over a period of time, but when you start the comparisons, I think it is what it is.
Here's the part nobody is talking about. Jordan and LeBron came from completely different eras of media pressure. Jordan dealt with enormous attention, obviously, but LeBron grew up in the social media age where literally every facial expression becomes content. Every post-game answer trends online within minutes. Every awkward moment gets clipped, memed, and debated for weeks. That changes how athletes communicate, whether fans want to acknowledge it or not. But at the same time, Jordan fans don't care about that context. To them, greatness means surviving pressure without publicly showing cracks. They point to Jordan playing through chaos, injuries, bad rosters early in his career, physical defenses, brutal playoff battles, and still maintaining that aura of complete control. And when they hear LeBron discussing roster construction, officiating, fatigue, or front office decisions, they interpret it as weakness. That's why the clip exploded. It tapped directly into the biggest emotional divide between Jordan fans and LeBron fans. One side values dominance and intimidation above everything. The other side values total basketball impact and longevity. And those definitions of greatness constantly clash.
Is Jordan, does he throw darts at?
What's funny is that statistically, LeBron has arguments that are almost impossible to ignore now. The scoring record, the playoff totals, the longevity, the versatility across multiple eras, the ability to dominate as a scorer, passer, rebounder, and floor general simultaneously. Nobody in NBA history has sustained elite play for this long at this level. Even Jordan fans usually admit that part. But then they counter with moments: finals mentality, killer instinct, fear factor, the emotional aura Jordan carried. They talk about how players reacted to him psychologically before games even started. They talk about how teammates feared disappointing him. They talk about how opponents looked defeated mentally before tip-off. And this old clip brought all of that energy back into the conversation immediately. This is where it gets dangerous, because once sports debates become emotional instead of factual, people stop looking at nuance entirely. Suddenly, every Jordan clip becomes proof he was mentally tougher. Every LeBron clip becomes proof he complains too much. Every playoff loss gets exaggerated. Every championship gets minimized depending on which side somebody already supports. That's exactly what happened online after this clip resurfaced. Jordan fans started posting side-by-side comparisons instantly. LeBron critics brought up body language moments, post-game interviews, and instances where LeBron looked frustrated publicly. Meanwhile, LeBron fans fired back by pointing out how impossible it is to compare media environments from the 90s to today. And honestly, there's truth on both sides. Because one thing Jordan undeniably mastered was psychological presentation. He understood mythology before athletes openly talked about branding. Jordan protected the image constantly. The public rarely saw vulnerability from him in real time during his playing career. Everything felt controlled. Even anger felt calculated. Even pressure looked motivating instead of draining. LeBron has always been different emotionally, more open, more expressive, more reactive publicly. Fans have seen frustration, exhaustion, disappointment, passive-aggressive comments, and social media reactions, all of it. Some people appreciate that honesty. Others think it weakens his aura compared to Jordan. And that's why the clip resonated so strongly with older basketball fans, especially. It reminded them of what they loved about Jordan's mentality, the idea that excuses were irrelevant, the idea that pressure was fuel, the idea that leadership meant absorbing blame publicly while demanding accountability privately. What makes this conversation fascinating is that younger fans often view it completely differently. Many younger fans actually respect LeBron's openness more because modern athletes are expected to communicate constantly. They see Jordan's era as more protected by traditional media structures. They argue LeBron has survived a level of non-stop scrutiny no athlete has ever faced before. But Jordan fans respond by saying that is exactly the point. They believe true greatness means staying mentally untouchable, no matter how loud the noise becomes. To them, Jordan never gave critics emotional openings, and they think LeBron has done that repeatedly throughout his career. The crazy part is that both careers are so massive now that people mostly argue philosophy instead of basketball. Because purely from a basketball standpoint, both players have reached levels almost nobody else in NBA history can touch. Jordan's peak dominance is absurd. LeBron's longevity is absurd. Their resumes are untouchable for almost everybody else. So the debate shifts toward intangibles: mentality, leadership style, emotional toughness, killer instinct, aura. That's why one old clip suddenly created this huge reaction online. Fans are starving for moments that reinforce whichever side they already believe. And honestly, the biggest weakness conversation around LeBron usually centers on one thing repeatedly: emotional perception under pressure. Not skill, not IQ, not production, perception. Critics think LeBron sometimes lets frustration become visible in ways Jordan never did publicly. People bring up the body language during losses, the visible disappointment with teammates, the passive-aggressive interview answers at times, the walking off court moments, the reactions to criticism. Jordan fans interpret all of that as evidence that LeBron lacks the same emotional intimidation Jordan carried. Now again, LeBron fans will argue that's unfair because LeBron has also delivered countless legendary pressure performances throughout his career. The 2016 finals alone destroyed many narratives forever. Coming back from 3-1 against a 73-win Warriors team is one of the greatest achievements in sports history, period. But Jordan supporters always shift back to the undefeated finals record and mentality discussions, and that's where these debates become impossible to resolve. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They think greatness is only about talent instead of understanding how much psychology matters. Jordan understood fear, he understood pressure, he understood how to mentally dominate opponents before games even started. LeBron understands basketball at an unbelievable level too, but his leadership style has always felt more collaborative and emotional instead of purely intimidating. Neither approach is automatically wrong, they're just different, but fans tend to romanticize whichever style fits their definition of greatness. Another reason this clip went viral is because modern sports culture loves nostalgia. Every generation wants to defend its icons. Older fans often feel like Jordan's mentality represented a tougher basketball culture overall. Younger fans often feel like LeBron's longevity and versatility are underappreciated because older fans are emotionally attached to Jordan. So every clip becomes symbolic, every quote becomes symbolic, every criticism becomes symbolic. And honestly, the NBA benefits from it. The Jordan-LeBron debate keeps basketball history alive constantly. It keeps multiple generations emotionally invested. Fans who watch Jordan feel validated when clips like this trend. Fans who grew up with LeBron immediately defend him. And the cycle keeps going forever. But what makes this specific clip interesting is that it didn't really attack LeBron directly. Fans projected LeBron into it themselves. That's why it spread so fast. People heard Jordan talking about leadership and excuses, then immediately connected it to modern LeBron discourse without Jordan even mentioning him. That says a lot about how fans already view both players emotionally. What's also fascinating is how impossible the standards for LeBron became once the GOAT debate started. Most all-time greats get celebrated mostly for what they accomplished. LeBron gets evaluated almost entirely through comparison. Every mistake becomes Jordan wouldn't have done that. Every loss becomes Jordan never let this happen. Every emotional moment becomes another piece of evidence in an endless courtroom trial about legacy. No athlete in modern sports has carried that kind of long-term comparison pressure for this many years. At the same time, though, LeBron invited that pressure by entering the GOAT conversation so early and sustaining greatness long enough to actually make the debate real. Most players never even get close enough to Jordan historically for these conversations to matter. LeBron absolutely did. That's why these clips hit so hard emotionally online, because fans already have their positions mostly locked in. Jordan fans saw confirmation. LeBron fans saw selective criticism. Neutral fans saw another reminder that the GOAT debate is never ending. And honestly, maybe that's the real reason people stay obsessed with Jordan versus LeBron. It's bigger than a basketball now. Jordan represents one version of greatness: silent killer, ruthless competitor, mythical aura. LeBron represents another version: versatility, longevity, adaptability, basketball genius under non-stop scrutiny. The old MJ clip simply reopened that argument again in the loudest possible way. And now the bigger question becomes this: when fans talk about the greatest player ever, are they talking about the best basketball player, or the player whose mentality made people feel the most invincible? Because depending on that answer, the Jordan-LeBron debate changes completely.